with Phil stumbling drunkenly out of his bed, appearing in his head all the things he's wanting to be said. 19 minutes of Phil to Phil, with so much time to kill. He promised chill, but all he does instead is beg and show. The stream's online and straight away begins to whine, but always fine as long as Shaz benign and doesn't step out of line. His content's immature for all to endure like fresh manure, but I feel sure he ran should have feeling so insecure. The money earned on yesterday was withdrawn and long gone, as Phil's spending impulse is always had to stay on. If supports are also slow and stays so low and fails to grow, you never know, the show may turn into an easy bingo. Once kicked off across the board with charge toward because his code can be ignored, just how much DSP makes us feel so bored. To help us fight or sleep and try to keep alert to watch a creep who play bingo, but Phil will bitch on why his sheep are also cheap, while DSP is chasing green. We're seeing green across the screen as Phil's routine predictability rivals are slow machine. He's not in burping, leaning ban. It matters not if battery fun, his child can't see if others make him feel less of a man. Takes a drink and starts his like before launching into a big pretending different bills when truth is dead to buy a wrestling JPEG. Talks about his shitty life of college cat and fatty life and all his strife of forgetting that it's done well and they were rife. With drama he will react but isn't act, that is a fact as he rehearsed to be exact in how he felt he was attacked. He's nearly over it and a win is in sight, with what to white despite Phil to light that tips were not light. We'll say alright it is okay and now it's time for Phil to play, but first he'll say that tips will help from being off the other day. And with those words we win again, it's never if but always when the game is won. Thanks to that we made it to the very end. Hey guys, King Jad here, and welcome to DSP Bingo for today, Wednesday, 20th of March 2024. I hope you're all doing very well indeed, and I do apologise to the live audience for failing to have a stream up basically on time. Like, even after Phil's stream was live, the stream wasn't set up yet. I was busy, adult and real life stuff, there you go. Got home from work, had to go straight back out, get to the shop, get stuff for dinner, had to make dinner as well and get all sorted. I'm still actually finishing my dinner right now, but it's one of those things where it's like I'm doing my best to, you know, this daylight savings time's a bastard. Fucking Phil, maybe Phil's right. Maybe we should just do away with it, you know, being an hour earlier than usual is fucking weird for me, but there we go. That all changes in a couple of weeks' time for me and most of the rest of the world anyway, because the clocks go forward in the UK in like 11 days time, essentially, a week and a half from now. So there we go. Anyway, never mind all that, guys. I do hope you're all enjoying your Wednesday so far. Hope you're all having a good time and everything else. And this is Phil's final stream before, you know, his big, massive, precious day off. Kind of surprising, Phil never begged a lot last night despite only getting $10 in tips playing like a dragon. Not entirely sure why that was. I mean, I don't think he was happy about it, but at the same time, it didn't seem to be as desperate as you'd expect him to be, considering that it's right before payday and he hasn't got the funds that he was expecting and everything else. It makes me think that he is not actually that strapped for cash, perhaps due to something happening behind the scenes. I don't know. There's a couple of strange things going on after all. Phil's a bit cagey with some things. Remember how he took time out yesterday during his podcast to pause it for the on-demand audience and respond to an email? Was that yesterday or was it the day before? It was very recent anyway. There's definitely some strange, shady things going on with Phil as far as I'm concerned. Who knows what it is? Feel free to theorise, you know, you're perfectly entitled to. It could be anything. Someone had a theory the other day that Phil still gets pocket money from his mum and dad. That's a very plausible theory, it could very well be true. But who knows? I mean, it would be so fucking funny if a grown-ass man in his like fucking 40s is still getting fucking regular money contributions from his own parents. Just to fucking tide him over and, you know, hey, this can go towards your taxes, son. We know it's been a rough year. Those damn Argentinians are at it again. For fuck's sake. Anyway, let's get bingo sorted, shall we? Let's get straight into fucking bingo. And I need help picking a card. Somebody give me a number. Please, anyone in chat, give me a random number for today's bingo card. The first number in chat I saw was number 9 from Mokiness. There we go. We're going to use Moki's number 9. Don't even fucking have to take out my... I can use both hands to count it. Fucking array, and I got one left over. Here we go. 9. There we go. Today's bingo card is as follows. Let me just randomise the bingo back in a few more times as well. So, here is today's bingo card. We need Phil to say honest, chill, idiot, fun, and here's the thing. The second row is Phil being all clown mode, him butchering about him, giving somebody a good old fashioned leaning manual ban, him seem tired, and his chair creaking. The third row is Phil saying, you guys, Twitter or X, hilarious. serious, literally, and nonsense. The fourth row is Phil flailing his arms, him saying business now, him discussing politics in some manner, and him saying update. And the fifth and final row is Phil saying content, essentially, him leaning into the microphone to give a creepy whisper, him saying friend, and finally him randomly standing up on stream. That is today's bingo card for us today as we go into what is Phil's final stream before his precious day off, where he'll beg for money to feed his fat ass wife some more fucking sushi or fucking Korean barbecue or some pish. So yeah, as you guys all know, the aim of the game is to try and get a full house, 25 out of 25 on the bingo card, and if we manage to do that, one of you guys could potentially win a prize at the end of the month, because the current prize bingo fund is $135. If we win bingo today, that'll go up to $160. At the end of the month, we will have a marble race to determine who gets to win that prize fund, and they can do with that as they wish. They can have it all for themselves, they can donate it to charity, they can split it or whatever, who fucking knows. But if you want to win a chance of winning in the first place, you've got to make sure you've got a comment on a community post, which is linked in the description of his live stream. If you've not done that, you're not going to have a chance of winning, so make sure you do that before the end of the month. The sooner you do it, the sooner you're guaranteed to have your marble in there to, you know, to potentially win the prize when we do a marble race at the end of the month to determine a winner. Now, there's a variety of ways for us to get free spaces on the bingo card, you see, before you. For example, if Phil snorts or burps 10 times before he starts recording for gameplay for YouTube, that gives us a free space. And if we get 100 likes on this bingo stream before we finish playing bingo, not only will that give us a free space as well, but you guys also get to enjoy the Bubbles animation made by the supremely talented Pixar Animations. So there you go, you guys are in control of one way for us to get a free space. The rest of the ways are controlled by Phil and his bizarre bodily functions. And these double up, remember, so 20 snorts is a second free space, 20 burps a second free space, and so on and so on and so on. With all of that being said, let's press the random Scottish soundboard button to see what's going to send us off into battle today.
Welcome to Operation Mindfuck!
Couldn't have said it better myself. Here we fucking go.
What is going on, everyone? The final consecutive streaming day of the week. The hot weather is gone. We've got some interesting stuff to talk about this morning, including the Dragon's Dogma 2 early review scores are out and very positive, so that's something to look forward to. Plus, I've got an update on the possible next project that we'll be doing over on DSP Throwback, so stay tuned. All that and more on today's episode of the Level 1 Podcast.
I'll just mute that fucking shit right there. I have a new soundboard button, by the way. Anytime Phil bores me,
Who fucking cares?
yeah. So I think that's a good wee addition to the soundboard. That's what I think. But yeah, good luck, guys. We've got one off already. 24 to go. Here we go.
Alrighty, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, the 20th of March, 2024. I'm DSP. I welcome you here to the show, my final consecutive streaming day of the week, so gonna take a little bit of a break tomorrow. What a week it's been, right? If you remember, on the first streaming day of this week, I put my foot down. I made a huge announcement that I have to make a change, because if I don't, I'm gonna be floundering, juggling so many games at once, I'll never make any progress in them, and they're almost all RPGs. So if you remember, this week was the week where I put my foot down and said, we are going to focus solely on either Baldur's Gate 3 or Like a Dragon Infinite Well. We've got to get through these games. But, of course, on Friday, I also had to play Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, which I'd already bought.
Alright, Brian, that's a good shout. Brian, okay, here's the kicker, Brian. Brian says an additional free space if he mentions Jay, because he said he'd never mention him again. Here is my counter offer. It's only a free space if Phil is not encouraged by a super chat or a member message into talking about it. Phil has to bring up Jay of his own volition. He cannot be coerced into bringing him up. There's my counter offer, Brian. You think it sounds fair? Cool, there we go then. If Phil brings up this Jay guy, remember if I can make a special video about it, you know, the other day, randomly, this fucking bullshit, you know, Review Tech USA's former editor or some pish. It's a bunch of nonsense. Phil says he's done with it. If Phil decides to bring him up of his own volition without being encouraged by his audience or whatever, then we get a free space. There we go.
Yeah, we all know how that went. So
this is 1.5 speed, by the way, but it feels like it's too fast straight from the get-go. So I'm going to slow it down to 1.25, just in case I miss anything.
It's been a heck of a week. Pretty much only playing the same 2 games all week. Definitely has a different vibe than my usual schedule, where I'm usually juggling 3 or 4 games of different various types. Just the thing is, right now, everything's an RPG. Whether it's Baldur's Gate 3, Like a Dragon Infinite Well, or Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which I was already playing, or Dragon's Dogma 2 coming out this Friday. Everything is an RPG. And so once again, yes, I'm pretty sure that saying RPG overload is a real thing is very warranted around now. You know, it's insane that all these RPGs have all come out within a short period of time. I'm trying to get through them all, but they're also lengthy. It's almost impossible to make progress in any of them, right? So, it's been a heck of a week. but we made great progress in all of the games that I'm playing. What I would like to do today is get you caught up, in case you weren't around or not paying attention, on how we're doing on each game, and to let you know progress-wise how close we are to completion, because that is a big question for all of you, right? Well, let's talk about that, shall we? All right, let's quickly go game by game, and then we'll get into the schedule, and then I want to talk about Dragon's Dogma 2, and also DSP Throwback, a positive update today. In fact, we'll probably talk about the throwback stuff first. But anyway, so this week was wild, right? Battlefront collection is absolutely atrociously bad. Basically unplayable at this point. I actually heard it got a patch like overnight or yesterday, and some people are saying that it runs better now. So maybe at some point in the future I will check it out again, because I mean, I own it, and those are great games. The originals are outstanding. It just absolutely sucks that, you know, we're in a situation where I can't even have a time to try it because I'm so busy with everything else trying to get caught up, right? So all that being said, that's done for now. And so we went full force into Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And so far, you know, today we're playing them again. I made major progress. I mean, I went from kind of being lingering and stuck into finishing major chunks of the plot lines of these games. You know, as of today, this week, we completed, geez, let's think about this, because we did like 3 or 4 major things this week, right?
Who fucking
we completed
cares?
the Ambassador quest line for Asterion, and he's literally out of the game now. We did the Balls Temple plot line for Orin, or with Orin, and took her out. And now we're going to see the fallout of that today, because we need to have a chance to do anything like loot or see what else is going on with that. We actually completed several different like side quest lines. Like we have rescued Minsk, and now he's a party member that we've been using. And then we used that to resolve the Thieves Guild quest line, which we didn't even have. Like we hadn't gone to the Thieves Guild, and then we went there with Minsk, and it literally resolved like a bunch of plot lines without having done them, which is hilarious. It just like skipped them all, which is great, because that now means that moving forward, we'll have them as allies, even though we technically didn't really, you know, work on the quest lines at all. It was kind of a 2-for-1 deal, right? In addition to that, like more stuff, I can't even technically remember all the stuff we did this week because we played Baldur's Gate so much. But we definitely went so far that basically now we're in position to do the endgame stuff. Like if you take a look at everything left, we have the Shadowheart and Lae'zel and Will companion missions. Those are the 3 we have left, okay? Then we have however I want to finish the game. You know, Gortash is still in control of Baldur's Gate. Do we want to get headfirst and just attacking him, which means we'd have to fight his robot guards, the Steel Watch? Or do we want to do the more elaborate way to do it, which is to break it to the Foundry and try to shut down the robots there? But there's also this Iron Throne dungeon. If you want my honest opinion on it, out of all the things that I'm doing in Act 3, this Iron Throne bullshit, I mean it too, it just sounds like a bunch of bullshit. So essentially what's going to happen is we're going to go on a submarine to some optional dungeon. The dungeon needs to be beaten in 6 turns. If you don't, the prisoners die. Like the goal is to rescue prisoners and get them out of this prison. It plays apparently nothing like the rest of the game. It's a standalone thing, but it's important to the plot because one of the prisoners is really important. Okay, that's really dumb. You're in Act 3. It's the end of the game. Just do the plots. Don't now be introducing time-consuming, annoyingly, you know, difficult, different kinds of gameplay. This would be like you're playing Street Fighter in the arcades, right? And all of a sudden, right before the final boss, there's a stage where you have to play Tetris. Like, what is this? Why is this in my game? I don't understand. It's a fighting game. Well, guess what? Again, this game, constantly trying to throw curveballs at you. I mean, let's be honest. Most of these big fights I've been doing, all have been almost gimmick fights, right? You know, the Cazador fight, the Orin fight yesterday. They all are gimmick fights where you have to find ways around these challenges that are presented to you instead of just doing a straightforward fight. And by the way, I also forgot to mention the Raphael. We did the House of Hope this week, the whole House of Hope, and, you know, fought Raphael, which is one of the big fights of the game and stuff like that. So there's more that we even did this week than I even mentioned. I'd forgotten that we had started with House of Hope. But anyway, the way I see it is, like, that's the thing. I'm kind of annoyed that people are saying it's essential to do it, because if you don't do it, you basically get kind of not the best ending. And I'm like, yeah, but man, it sounds so annoying. And it sounds like it'll be a whole extra stream for this one stupid thing. And it sounds like there's potential to fail and have to reload and redo and reload and redo. So I don't know. I don't know, you know, what to really focus on here. Today, we're definitely going to do the fallout of the Orin fight. I want to loot. I want to look around, obviously rescue Lae'zel, see what else is available to do. And then we got to make a decision, like, what should I do next? Okay. So anyway, that's what we've been doing in Baldur's Gate 3. The good news is we made giant progress. And if I stay on pace, okay, which how much I'm actually doing this, likely I will finish the game within a week and a half, 2 weeks. Like tops, I would say probably that first week of April, we're going to beat it, right? Like today, after 3 hours, we'll probably end up doing a bunch of companion quests or whatever. And then probably we can head into that end game next week. And hopefully within a few streams, we can get to that final area. And the final, apparently from to understand, the finale of the game will take a couple streams. So we'll see, but good progress on that front, okay? In Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, we also have made giant progress this week. We went from Chapter 8, all right, which we had done several streams in. I think we had done like 3 streams in Chapter 8. This is when the game split and you go to Japan with Kiryu's party and Kiryu forms his own party. And I went from there, all right, all the way to Chapter 12 in only like 3 streams. Like each stream, we're beating an entire chapter of the game. So the progress has been superb in that regard. But now what's happening, because I've been beating a whole chapter a stream, is number one, the story is apparent that it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. I think that the story of the original Like a Dragon from a few years ago is much better than this one. I do feel like the story is way inferior.
Well, of course it's inferior. It's based on your fucking life, remember? It's just like my life. For real, for real.
In this regard, which is sad. I was hoping that the new one would have a better story. It has everything else better, like the gameplay elements, the graphics, the idea that there's 2 parties and multiple maps you can jump between, but the story ain't that good. It's kind of crappy near the end of the game here, and it really hasn't gotten much better, and I'm like, it's kind of disappointing. Basically, the way I see it, all right, we could possibly beat Like a Dragon next week. However, there may be something that holds us up from doing this. From what I'm being told, once you get to like Chapter 13/14, the end of the game has a big difficulty spike. Like right now, I'm around level 40-ish, my party, and the enemies are around level 40-ish, so we're doing all right. But from what's going to happen, apparently the game is going to all of a sudden have an artificial spike that's going to make it go to like 45, 50, and you're not going to be there yet. And this actually happened to my wife, Kat, as well. She said, yes, when you get to the end, all of a sudden, there's just this spike, and you have to kind of go grind. If you don't, you're not going to be able to fight these enemies. They're too high level.
Everyone's spoiling the games he's playing right now. People have been spoiling what happens in Baldur's Gate 3, and he's getting spoiled in Like a Dragon Yakuza. What happened to Phil's fucking mantra here? Hold on. Remember... Hey guys, are we back? Are we back? I don't know if we're back yet. Are we back? That was weird. My OBS completely froze up on me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just kind of waiting to hear back from my chat here if I'm back. There, apparently we're back. We're back. I have no clue what the hell happened. So what I will say is that right before... So as I was setting up my stream, when I opened up my OBS... It updated OBS for me. I had like a stream elements, OBS updates. So I thought, okay, let's just get through it all. The only thing I can think of is that this maybe latest patch or additional whatever for this OBS. I don't know. I have no idea, but it seems to be fixed now. I can't mind, when did it freeze? What was the last thing people remember fucking seeing? I don't know. Jesus, man. But I was basically... So Phil was talking about... I went and paused it to basically rant about how Phil gets spoiled on everything. You know? Absolutely everything possible. Hold on. So yeah, there we go. Just making sure we're good. Just telling people to refresh, everything to refresh. Cool stuff. Jeez, yeah, it's a weird thing. A screen transition is the last thing I saw. Maybe it was that fucking went and made it weird then. Because I went full screen and maybe it fucking went weird. Let me try and do a transition again. It should be okay. Yeah, we're fine with that. And we're fine with that. Yeah, I don't know why transitions seem to break OBS, but there you go. But yeah, basically I was saying that Phil has gotten spoiled on Baldur's Gate 3 thanks to his audience. He's gotten spoiled on Like a Dragon Yakuza thanks to his wife, and his header here, his YouTube banner header of daily videos, raw gameplay, no bullshit. No bullshit constitutes him not getting spoiled on all the games he's playing, because he's meant to be providing a raw, first time exclusive experience where he's not been spoiled on anything. Phil has prided himself for years on not spoiling himself on anything and giving you a raw, genuine reaction to what's going on. But here he is, openly admitting that he knows what's coming up in these games, he knows what to expect, and he's planning ahead for it. It feels like bullshit to me. But there you go, that's why I paused it to fucking rant, because it just, something smells, it doesn't agree with me. It's not a classic DSP where he's like fucking just no bullshit, you know, fuck off. No, you're spoiling absolutely everything. But yeah, as I said, we'll keep going with Bingo. Bingo's still going on. I do apologise that OBS completely screwed up before. I have no idea what caused it. I don't know why. I just pressed a button and it just seemed to break things. Maybe I should press less buttons. Let's go.
So there may be a stream or two where I have to go to one of the optional dungeons and go through and grind, and also not only do the dungeon for leveling, but to get components to upgrade weapons to like the final level and stuff like that, so that we can hang in the end of the game. Now, there's many RPGs that have done this before, so I'm just not going to sit here and I'm not going to complain about that, but it is kind of annoying that, you know, we have gotten this far, and now it's like we're in the home stretch, and it's like the game's going to kind of delay its ending because of this spike. I get what they're doing there, because many RPGs have done this thing, like that's the final challenge of the game. It just sucks because us, timing-wise, schedule-wise, we are trying to complete games so we can move to the new games that are coming out, or to go back to lingering games, which we're going to address in a second. Don't worry, I know people are wondering, oh, what's Final Fantasy VII doing? I'll talk about that in a second. And now we're kind of, oh man, now we can't finish this one as quick as we would have hoped, because because of this difficulty spike. So we'll see what happens in the next week. But basically, we're playing again tonight. We're in chapter 12. I'm thinking we may actually finish chapter 13 tonight, or get into chapter 13, I should say, tonight. And then next week, the focus would be trying to finish it. And if we don't, maybe just a couple more streams and it'll be done. Anyway, so the way I see it, and I could be wrong, next week, we will absolutely get to the end of the game, with both games. And then probably that first week of April, we could potentially beat both. And if that's the case, that's great, because then we can focus on other stuff, which is exactly what I'm trying to do. Okay? So let's hope for the best. Fingers crossed that everything goes well today in the streams that I do, because today it is Baldur's Gate and Like a Dragon Infinite Well, and that later on next week, because we are going to have one detour day on Friday, but that later on we focus on these games again, and after another, 4 days of focusing on them, we're at the end of each, and hopefully wrap them up, and then in early April we can focus on the new games. Okay? So there we go. We'll see. It's funny because Nemesis T-Type just says Baldur's Gate 3 finale on Phil's birthday. Maybe. My birthday marathon is on April 6th. So it's 2 weeks from this coming Saturday, right? And basically, you're right. We may be in a situation where I finish the game on my birthday because it's so long. But then maybe not. It really depends on how things go. I don't know how long these final areas are going to be. Shadowheart, Lae'zel, Will. 3 optional endgame, plot lines that I want to do because they're companion quests, right? And then basically heading into the Gortash parts, and then the finale. So how long does that take? Could it be 2-3 streams? Could it be another 7 streams? I don't know. You guys have played, not me. Okay, and I don't want to spoil. What I'm getting at is that I think there's something at the end of the game that no one's told me about, which is good. I don't want to be spoiled. But people have been kind of saying, oh yeah, the ending segment will take several hours. And I'm like, I wonder why. There's got to be something that we don't know about, right? Something's going to happen, or something's going to be time consuming, and I hope it's good. But I get that because all these plot lines are culminating. The Emperor wants you to do one thing. We already got rid of Raphael, so he's not a concern anymore, thankfully. But you got Gale and Mithra, and they each want to do something themselves with this crown that's on the Elder Brain. And you might make a choice just determining that. You want to destroy the crown, you want to keep the crown, give it to someone. But I definitely get the feeling like there's going to be a lot going on in this ending, that all these factors are going to come into play. And so maybe there's going to be extra fights. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, people have been alluding to the fact that the final fight of the game is not the hardest, that there actually is something much harder that comes right before. And I'm curious what that could be. But I guess I don't want to be spoiled. So we're going to find out together probably in the next week to 2 weeks. Anyway, yeah, so that's where we're at right now. Now you might say, well, what happened to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Well, as I said, it's on pause. There is absolutely no way we could be playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right now. I have to finish these existing games first. Then once they're done, we can potentially bring back Rebirth into the mix. And it's funny because people were like, you realize that you're about to finish everything at Junon. And, well, not finish everything in Junon, but you finish all the side content in Junon. And then once you go into the plot there at Junon, it's like 8 straight hours of crazy fun narrative and interesting stuff. And I'm like, I believe you. Like, I remember in the original Final Fantasy VII in Junon, that's where you go undercover, right? And there's all this fun stuff going on there. And then right after that, there's some crazy plot developments and stuff like that. But how was I going to do that? Exactly. It wouldn't make sense. How was I going to make any progress in any game if I played that mixed with the others? I wouldn't have, right? So it has to be on hold for now, until I get a chance to bring it back to the fold, probably in a couple of weeks. All right. So that is where we're at with everything. All right. Now, today, it is more Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. Let's see where we go. Tomorrow, I'm off from streaming. But during my off day, I'm going to spend some time with my wife. We're going to pre-download both Dragon's Dogma 2 and the character creator to my Xbox. And then we're going to create characters. I'm going to make my player character, and she's going to make a pawn for me in the creator. And those are going to be characters I'm going to use in my playthrough. Okay? And then that starts on Friday.
And what's the bet in that he's going to ban people that mock the pawn that Cat makes? Phil's probably showing off his fucking pawn. Guys, Cat made this. She's a part of the stream. She made this pawn, and people are saying it's fucking shit. Ban.
And I'll be playing Dragon's Dogma 2 all day Friday. And don't worry, we're going to talk about it in a second. All the reviews are out saying the game is great, and we'll talk about them in a minute. So I'm excited to start that playthrough all day long on Friday. But because we are in the midst of RPG overload, I can't keep playing Dragon's Dogma 2. We're going to play it all day Friday, and then it's going to go on hold while I finish Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. Excuse me. When I finish those 2 games, then I will return back, and then I will play Dragon's Dogma 2 as a full-time daytime game, much like I'm doing now with Baldur's Gate 3. Okay? So, Friday all day, Dragon's Dogma 2, but then Saturday it's Baldur's Gate and Like a Dragon. Sunday is React Day. So on Sunday, it's going to be DSP versus the Internet Clip Show on DSP React. And then it's going to be the conclusion of the retro replay of Heavy Rain on DSP Throwback. I'm excited for that because it's going to be the big ending. I hope a lot of people will come and join me for the ending of the game. And then we're going to have the poll to determine what's the next game on DSP Throwback. And the options will be more Dark Souls 1, because we've only done 1 stream of that so far. Bully, the original run from 2013. Bioshock, the original run from 2009, one of my oldest playthroughs of all time. Or the original Mass Effect run. Which I believe, I want to say the original Mass Effect one was also 2009, but it may have been 2010. But that's one of the ones that all the memes came out of. For example, Thugs on the Floor. One of the earliest memes about me on the internet came out of that playthrough. So,
anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
So those will be the options people will be voting on, and whatever wins the poll will be our next Retro React starting the week after. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, all Baldur's Gate and Like a Dragon, with the hopes that we will finish them, or one of them, by the end of next week. That would be great. If I can at least wrap up one of the games by the end of next week, and essentially by the end of March, that would be ideal. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but we'll see. Okay? Then, essentially, all we're going to do, focus on Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon until they're done. Then Dragon's Dogma 2 comes in full time, and then we have a big decision to make. Do I bring back Final Fantasy 7, and do we balance Dragon's Dogma 2 and Final Fantasy 7 as the 2 featured games? Do we want to bring in any more variety of games? Because that's only...
What happened to Sea of Stars, Phil?
2 games, and obviously people are going to want more than 2 more RPGs. So what other variety should we do, right? Should we bring in Alone in the Dark, a shorter, more suspenseful horror game? Should we consider Rise of the Ronin, the other game that comes out Friday that I'm skipping for now, but maybe you guys will want to see it? Should I do something completely different? Right? There's a lot of options. Should we go back and try to play the Battlefront collection? Because apparently they're patching it and making it better now, right?
Who fucking cares?
So, at the very least, the RPGs that we've been playing forever are going to end within the next 1 to 2 weeks. But basically, it looks like we're going right back into more RPGs, and there's not that much we can do about that, because that's what's out right now. Now, on my birthday, April 6th, we're doing a marathon. During that marathon, which is undetermined everything we'll be doing, but there's going to be food, there's going to be cake, there's going to be booze, and there's going to be a schedule update where for a whole hour or more during the marathon, I'm going to go through the entirety of the gaming landscape and schedule for the rest of the year, and I'm going to outline the dates of all the new games coming out and the ones I'm interested in, so that way we can pick which ones to play. Once we pick which ones you want to see me play, then what we can do is, after the calendar's kind of populated that way, we can look for gaps and say, oh, I see, in June, there's going to be a gap here. In July, there's like nothing, and then we can base other projects and games around that.
Who fucking cares?
A special game playthrough. You want to see me do a long form react. You want to see me do something special on the Throwback channel. We can then do that once we get to the gaming schedule update. Okay. So that's going to be on my birthday, April 6th. And then from there, we'll go from there and determine what comes next. Okay. So there you go. That's everything I'm thinking of schedule wise for the next couple of weeks. And hopefully once we're past that, then we can focus on all new games, which I want to focus on new games at this point. I really need these games to be ending. So I'm glad we're in the home stretch. Okay. Before we get to the Dragon's Dogma 2 review scores, okay, the one thing I would like to talk about this morning, which is very good news and interesting news, I think you'll like this. So, we are nearing the end of Red Dead Redemption on DSP Throwback. In fact, as of this morning, I believe the video released, and this is the one where you finally run into Dutch Vanderlyn, who is your gang leader from...
And as far as I'm aware, there's plenty more of the game to play after that. Like after... so... Basically, after you get rid of Dutch, you can finally, go home. From what I recall, my memory of it anyway, that's where you can finally get to go home from that shit, you know what I mean? And not only go home, but to be with your family. If my memory serves me right, that's kind of what triggers getting to be back with your family in the first Red Dead game. Killing Dutch fucking, has those two released, your wife and your fucking boy or whatever. And I think that's what happens anyway, and it's an emotional reunion and all. It's a good moment, but there's plenty more of the game to go. It's basically the final couple of chapters, and there's a bit more to go as well. It's not the very end though. I'd say there's probably another few hours of gameplay at the very least. For most people, there's a few hours of gameplay. Maybe Phil just fucking rushed it because he's a fucking moron.
The actual plot of Red Dead Redemption 2, and you finally run into him, and now you're starting to chase him. And if I remember, this is moving fully into the end game. Like now you're after him for the next several missions, and then there's a resolution, and then there's a big kind of event, and then there's an epilogue, and that's the end of the game. So I would predict that probably within 1 to 2 weeks, so again, probably by very early April, the Red Dead Redemption playthrough on DSP Throwback will be done. Okay? So then we got to say, what's the next project? And people have been talking about what the next project should be, like different various opinions on this. Okay? Now, originally the idea for DSP Throwback was to get playthroughs on the channel, all right, that are there for posterity purposes, meaning you can't really see them anywhere else on the internet for various reasons. Now, some of the playthroughs we're doing, Red Dead 1 and Final Fantasy 13, they both are not anywhere in their entirety on the internet because those channels were shut down. One was on a Final Fantasy channel, one was on a Rockstar channel, and they were both shut down by hackers. They hacked them years ago, and basically I lost control of them, and then they put up illegal footage, and the channels got shut down by YouTube. So those playthroughs were lost to time, but luckily I had the raw file saved. So that's exactly what we were doing, is uploading these for posterity, editing them into 30-minute clips instead of 10-minute clips, fixing the audio, upscaling the visuals, adding frames per second, doing all these improvements, thumbnails, titling, and now those playthroughs will be preserved for future audiences to watch, okay? So it's Red Dead's almost over. You know, there's basically two major options in my mind of things that we can do next. One would be the other big forgotten lost playthrough, L.A. Noire, which, again, it was on that Rockstar-related channel and has been gone for many, many years. I did do a second run of L.A. Noire later on, but the original one has always been lost, okay? But as I have been doing these projects on the Throwback channel, there has been one common opinion, one, not demand, but definitely one desire by my audience. People keep bringing up my original Fallout 3 playthrough, stating that, hey, it's one of your earliest playthroughs you ever did. It's so old. The visuals are actually done with a camera that's not widescreen. It's not even HD, and it's pointed at an HD TV, so it's 480p video, crooked, skewed to fit a widescreen TV into the 4:3 aspect ratio shot, okay? The audio is atrociously bad, the visuals are bad, but people love this epic playthrough because, again, it's one of my earliest full playthroughs I ever did. That was the playthrough where I got drunk half the time and I was lost in the sewers, I was murdering entire towns. It's epic. Like, people remember it from back in the day as, wow, one of the wildest kind of video game playthroughs to be put on YouTube, and people love it for that reason. However, there's a couple problems with this playthrough in the current day. Number one, it definitely doesn't really hold up, being that it's such a bad quality with the visuals and the audio and everything. It's hard to watch today, you know, like back in the day, 15 years ago, people didn't really care, but now you've been watching HD quality, you know, for how long, and it looks terrible, okay? Number two, in that playthrough, originally, I used a lot of the radio on the Pip-Boy, and the radio plays a lot of old-timey music. The problem with that is that that music, since the game has come out, has been completely claimed and or blocked. There's just a ridiculous amount of copyright issues with that soundtrack on YouTube. In fact, I tested this. I went and searched for Fallout 3 on my DSP gaming channel for my second run, when I actually did have some of the music on. Within the first 12 parts, 7 of them had copyright issues, okay? That's more than half, and that's only in the first few parts, okay? The original run, I had the music on like all the time, I think. So there's very much potential that that run in many countries cannot be watched. It might be muted. There's actual parts that I think are muted, and therefore completely unwatchable. So here's the thing. If people really want Fallout 3, which they've been asking for them and saying we would love to see Fallout 3, you know, restored, made to look better, made to run better, but also be viewable, because that's the problem. You try to watch that original Fallout 3 playthrough, and a lot of the parts have big issues with them. It's doable. The thing is, though, it's a lot of work. Meaning, to take those videos and imagine, instead of it being 4:3 crushed, to actually change the aspect ratio to widescreen, and to have these programs that we've been using for Final Fantasy 13 and Red Dead to rescale it, make it full HD like it was meant to be, to actually make the visuals look better and the proper aspect ratio, and not...
I'm gonna bet $10 his fucking editors are just gonna steal someone else's gameplay and put Phil's audio over the top of it and pretend it's him.
skewed to the side. It's doable. It actually is doable. It's just work, but it's doable, okay? There's programs you can use to scrub music. And again, it's doable that we could run those videos through these levels of editing, all right, to get that to happen. It's just work, all right? And I guess the question is, how much demand is there for someone to see the Fallout 3 playthrough in this manner? So to clarify how it would be, number one, it wouldn't be 4:3 aspect ratio, 480p. It would be brought to a full HD widescreen
Who
aspect ratio.
fucking cares?
Graphics would be upscaled. I don't know how good they're going to look because it's from fuzzy 480p, but they would be upscaled to try to look better. The audio would be scrubbed, meaning, first of all, you'd be able to hear me better, but also we try to get all the music out of there so that it doesn't cause problems and you can actually watch the playthrough without blocking, muting, and stuff like that. All those parts would then be put into 30-minute segments. It would be edited together, titled appropriately, where each part would have a description of what's going on in that part first. It would have a thumbnail, right, which the originals don't even have, and put into a more modernized, proper playlist, okay? That's a lot of improvements. I mean, aspect ratio, you know, resolution, frame rate, audio for you know, hearing it, sounds better, clarity, but also taking out the music and then the thumbnail, the title link, that's like 7 or 8 improvements to each video, right?
Yeah, and it's all done by other people, not you. Why are you pretending like this is a whole lot of work for you when it's going to be other people doing all this for you?
We looked into it, and the original Fallout 3 playthrough is about 22 hours long. Okay, now that does not include me going back to do optional side content, which I did. That was another 19 hours. So I played almost as long doing the side content I had missed in the first run as I did in the first run. But if we're just talking the original playthrough, all right, it's around 22 hours long. That's around the length of Red Dead Redemption. So knowing now, because we started Red Dead Redemption back in January, we would know that if we started that and balanced it with other stuff, and we're alternating 2 playthroughs, that would mean we could start in like April and it would probably end in like June-ish. You know, it takes about 2 months or something like that. So it could work, but the question is that what people want? Because in my mind, there's only 2 options as the next project on DSP Throwback. It's either Fallout 3 or LA Noire, because LA Noire you can't watch anywhere right now. Fallout 3 you can, it's just really bad quality. So either one I feel for posterity purposes is a great idea, but I guess it's just a matter of, you know, what do you want first demand-wise? Because easily what we could do is once Final Fantasy 13 finishes, which is around 2/3 of the way through now, probably another month to finish it, then we could do the other one too. And then we could have those 2 balanced on the channel, right? So I guess that's the question. The other thing is, people have been saying, oh, for your next Retro React, would you react to Fallout 3? That's the thing, I can't. Like, I literally can't. If we play back those videos, they're going to get muted, claimed, and screwed up because of the music. So that's why if you ever wanted me to go back and react to Fallout 3, I could, but we have to do the scrub first. We have to actually get these videos scrubbed and the raw ones live on the channel, and then I can go and watch them back because those will be available to watch and not have issues. One of the big problems that happens with YouTube is if you're reacting to something and YouTube detects that as copywritten content, they actually block your stream. And we know this from the last year that I've been doing the DSP versus the internet show on DSP Reacts. It sucks. It's not like, oh, your stream's been claimed. It's, oh, your stream's getting shut down now. It's like, what? And then you have to wait like 3-4 minutes for YouTube to detect that you've moved on and you're not watching that content anymore. So imagine me trying to do a react to Fallout 3 and immediately it detects music and now the whole stream's done. I can't do anything. I can't continue. So that's what I mean. If you guys ever want me to do a react to Fallout 3, we have to scrub the playthrough first anyway. Okay? So, I'd like your feedback on this. Does this sound good? We're going to be talking more and more about this soon because, again, like I said, another couple of weeks probably, Red Dead 1 will be finishing and we'll need to come to a determination of which playthrough you guys want to see first. Likely, we'll put it to a poll. Like, for example, this Sunday night when we finish Heavy Rain, I'm going to make a poll on the channel for the next playthrough. Well, probably around that, the next week, I'll put a poll up and say, hey, which do you want? LA Noire or Fallout 3? And people will determine, what order they want to do from there. So, I guess we'll see, all right? So that's what's going on with that. And I think that's great news. Like, I had no idea that we would be able to take those original Fallout 3 videos and actually make them widescreen. Like, I didn't even know that was possible. And so to know that we can actually make it HD, widescreen, try to do something with the frame rate, scrub the audio, so, that's amazing improvements. I actually could not wait to watch back my own playthrough of the game with those improvements, So that's really cool. All right, so guys, that's everything I got there. Now it is time to talk about Dragon's Dogma 2, for which now finally the reviews are out. All right, and the good news is reviews are good. But
you trust game reviews now, Phil? I thought they were all incompetent paid shills who didn't know what they were doing. They got games for free and they're fucking paid to kiss a game's arse and all that shit. Why do you all of a sudden fucking trust what the game reviews say when you constantly bottle and mock the very same gaming media on a regular basis to try and fucking back up and verify, and make your own claims fucking better to your audience? Phil, you've got to be consistent. Either the gaming media know what they're talking about or they don't. You can't pick and choose when they're worth listening to just to suit your own narrative and try and build up hype for a game which you're hoping your audience will fucking take to.
You could bear with me for 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I did the recording pause trick. I basically have a catch in my fingernail. It's really bothering me, and if I don't get rid of it now, it's probably gonna catch on stuff. I just want to go take care of it. I don't have a nail clipper in here. So I paused the recording. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom, do that, come right back, and we're gonna resume. Okay, give me like a minute, and I'll literally be right back, and we'll continue the podcast.
I guess this counts as standing up. There we go.
Burger.
Stand up. Fuck me, man. I mean, I guess we can fast forward ourselves, or we can just spam this Scottish soundboard for a while.
Welcome to Operation Mindfuck!
This is the fucking Shawshank Redemption, right? But with more tunneling through shit and no fucking redemption. Fuck's sake, Jesus! Right!
Shut the fuck up, you cunt!
I mean, it's terrible. All this hands are all over.
Welcome to Operation Mindfuck!
There we go. I was fast forwarding as well, but in case people
The
were
chair emote. That's why we made it, right? It's a good one. All right, ready to...
yeah, so yeah, I was fast forwarding, but I was also spamming the button. So there we go. That's why I fucking went a bit weird at the end because Phil started coming back. But yeah, I was doing both. I wasn't just going to let it fucking play and just doing absolutely fucking nothing. Phil was back from fucking trimming his precious fucking nails.
Continue the show. Here we go. And just like that, I'm back. This new pause feature on OBS that we've discovered. Thank you, OP Boone, who in the suggestion box told me about this pause feature. I'm using this like literally every day now. It's so useful. So for you guys who watch on demand, I'm sure you're enjoying this feature because you don't have to see an empty chair. And for those on stream, they see the empty chair and we made an empty chair emote for them to use. And they do it. They use it in the chat when I get up. So it's great. All right. So anyway, let's continue on with the show. What I'd like to talk about now is the reviews have come out for Dragon's Dogma 2. All right. I'm just going to read some of them. You ready for this? They just came out this morning. The Sixth Axis, 10 out of 10. RPG Site, 10 out of 10. Gaming Bolt, 10 out of 10. Eurogamer, 5 out of 5. VG247, 5 out of 5. PSU, 9.5. Gaming Trend, 95. Windows Central, 4.5 out of 5. Game Informer, 9. God is a Geek, 9. GameSpot, 9. IGN, 8. So, those are just some of the, I mean, there's tons of review scores that have come out. Aggregate.
It's weak, but I'm going to count that as clown mode.
Burger.
5 in a row. That's concerning. Basically, it's getting in the 90s on PC and high 80s on console. And you might say, wait, what's the difference? Graphics. Basically, on PC, this thing can run like uncapped frame rate, depending on your rig. On console, listen to this. This is very bizarre because I never would have expected this one. Okay? Dragon's Dogma 2 runs better on the Xbox Series X than it does on the PS5. On PS5, it essentially runs around 30 frames per second. On the Xbox Series X, Dragon's Dogma 2 runs at 40 frames per second, but it fluctuates. So it actually runs better on Xbox, which is almost never the case, correct? It's almost always in favor of the PlayStation 5 this console gen when it has a cross-gen or a cross-platform game like this. So, weird, right? Very weird. So I'd like to just read you guys a couple quick review summaries, all right? This one's from RPG Site. More than just a retread of the 2012 original, Dragon's Dogma 2 fulfills and expands upon the promise of its predecessor, culminating in what can only be described as a generational RPG. Whoa, that sounds like high praise. From Colt Eastwood, Dragon's Dogma 2 on Xbox Series X runs an average of 6 frames higher than PS5, stays closer to 40 frames in combat. PS5 is closer to 30 and sometimes goes under. I recommend getting it on PC if possible. Okay? This one's from Okami13. Dragon's Dogma 2 is my new game of the year, but it's March. I hate the people who do this. It's my game of the year. It's fucking March. Right?
Didn't you claim your Final Fantasy VII was a potential early game of the year candidate? You're just as bad as they are, Phil.
Right?
Also, this is before the game came out and he fucking rage quit it because I wasn't getting money. But before the game even came out, Phil's like, it's going to be my game of the year so far. It's the biggest game of the year so far.
Capcom delivered an absolute masterpiece, but performance issues at times can hurt an otherwise unforgettable experience. There you go. And then I actually found this tweet entertaining from Theo Crusader. Burger. He says, Dragon's Dogma 2 fanboys are posting the review scores and ignoring the fact that they're going to be playing it like a slideshow. So essentially, what they're saying is it's really, really, really good. It's long, it has a lot of content. They've improved upon almost everything in the original game, although they make it feel like a new experience. It doesn't feel like you're just playing Dragon's Dogma 1 all over again. They did add new things and improve upon a lot of things, but the bummer is the graphics just aren't as good as they could be. Like, people really feel like it should be at a better frame rate. And I'm going to be honest with you. Yes, it should be 60 frames. I still don't understand why. Why can't these game developers make their games 1080p 60 frames? And here's the thing. I think I know the answer. Okay? The answer is this. Because we pushed technology too far, too fast, and we rushed into 4K. That's the answer. Because all these games basically have to have, they have to have 4K resolution modes. And since they have to do that, they have to add enough detail and enough to make it 4K. So when they do that, now they're like, well, how do we make it 60 frames? Well, no one's expecting 60 frames at 4K, right? But now, because you put so much detail and shit into the game, now it's like an afterthought to try to get it to run better on the lower resolutions. Imagine if this generation, the only goal was 1080p 60 frames. You understand that if that was the actual focus this console generation, every game would be that. Literally every game would run 1080p 60 frames. The problem is we push technology where every TV is 4K, everyone wants 4K. All right, now have you seen the difference between 4K and 1080p? There's some difference, notably in movies. Movies probably take advantage of it more. In video games, when there's a lot of motion and everything, it's not that big of a difference. It's not, okay? And people who freak out about this, I demand 4K and everything. Basically, you've made these game devs rush forward at a point where they weren't really ready for that, in my opinion. From what I'm seeing, from the climate of the industry, from what how is it we have these incredibly powerful boxes and we can't just boot a game at 60 frames yet? It doesn't even make fucking sense, right? Why? Because they put too much detail in them. Why? Because they needed that detail for 4K. It's stupid. It's stupid, especially when, have you even heard a single game dev say that they've really benefited from 4K? Have you heard one say that? Like, when people were saying, oh, we went from, you know, standard definition to HD, or when we went from 720p to 1080p, people definitely saw the difference, correct? Like, you could see a big generational jump in the quality of games when that happened. Have you seen a generational jump since all games now can render in 4K? Have you seen any big differences? It's stupid. I mean, what's happened is, instead of them focusing on lighting, on better aliasing, and what they call ray tracing, and the frame rate, they've now got to fuck around with adding enough details to make it be 4K first, and then try to make everything else work after the fact. It's really dumb. So this is the problem. They focus fidelity over frame rate. And when they do that, the entire industry suffers, you know, 100%. Okay. 100%. I can tell you that basically, if we didn't have 4K resolution right now as a requirement, Dragon's Dogma 2 would probably be 60 frames per second on every format. But we skipped it. If you remember, like last gen, a lot of games started at 720p and then they jumped to 1080p. Some were variable resolution. And then all of a sudden this gen, every game's 4K. That was the problem. The jump was too much. So this pisses me off, because I would love to have Dragon's Dogma 2 as a beautiful 60 frame RPG. And now we got to have this fluctuating hybrid game. For who? Who is the sales audience out there that if you announced that Dragon's Dogma 2 only rendered at 1080p, that they would say, we're panning the game, we're never playing it? What would it be? Like 1,000 people? Whoop-de-fucking do. Why are we catering to these people who are so demanding and picky, instead of just making something that everyone would benefit from, right from the ground level, you know? So this basically pisses me off, because now people are going to say, oh, don't get Dragon's Dogma 2 because it runs under 60 frames on console. And that's a stupid mentality. If it really is as good as these reviewers are saying, and you're going to skip out on a game that's a potential Game of the Year contender simply because it doesn't run at smooth 60 frames, that's pretty stupid. But a lot of people are like that. Like, a lot of people are so demanding that today they will not buy a game if it doesn't run at the best performance. You know what I mean?
If you want the game to perform as best as possible, just buy it on PC. If you want to enjoy games to the best of their potential and not be held back with the limitations of what consoles give you, get a game in PC, and they're not that fucking expensive. They like to fucking pretend they're fucking thousands and thousands or thousands of fucking dollars. You can get good gaming PCs at reasonable fucking prices, and they'll play most fucking games.
I'm saying? Dark Gaming says Baldur's Gate 3 is 30 frames. No. It runs at 60 frames for me, but it's hybrid. Like, a lot of the times it's 60, and then it chugs in parts, right? Especially in combat, or if you're in parts of the Baldur's Gate itself, and there's a lot going on around you, then it dips. So it's a variable frame rate, but it aims for 60, and it hits it a lot of the time. For what they're saying, Dragon's Dogma 2 never hits 60 on console. Like I said, on Xbox Series X, it hits around 40-ish, which is good, but you want more, right? So I'm happy to hear this news. I'm excited, and I really feel like now I made the right choice, because if you remember, this week was a big choice. Am I doing Rise of the Ronin or Dragon's Dogma 2? And I tried to take in your feedback, and that's great. Your feedback has been amazing, because you led me, I think, to the right decision. Okay, but man, I'll be honest, I think that will be the one thing that we criticize, is the graphics. If the game plays well, if the game has great combat mechanics, great RPG mechanics, and a huge open world, tons of fun stuff to do, and it chugs, it's going to be frustrating, right? So I think we made the right decision. Now, if you remember last week with Rise of the Ronin, we explored the early preview opinions, and the early preview opinions were kind of mixed. Basically, some people loved it. They said, oh, it's a great open world. It's basically a combination of Assassin's Creed and Sekiro with some Dark Souls elements, although it's not as hard because the game has a difficulty adjuster, so you can make it easier. It doesn't have to be ridiculously over-the-top difficult, okay? Some people loved it. Others basically said, it's okay, but basically once you get 3-4 hours into the game, the entire game feels kind of samey, and therefore it gets boring. I shouldn't be bored 3-4 hours into an open world game, and that's why it's not that good. So, honestly, I think I made the right decision here. I hope the Dragon's Dogma 2 ends up being great. Remember, we're playing it all day Friday. And then after that, we have to wait. I have to finish Baldur's Gate, and we have to finish Like a Dragon, and then we're going heavily into Dragon's Dogma 2 as my major playthrough for a bit. I hope you guys understand why I have to do this. I cannot be playing 3-4 RPGs at once. We have to finish what we're doing first. So, fingers crossed for great progress today on our streams. And I'm excited to jump into Dragon's Dogma 2 with all of you on Friday. And again, some people were wondering, Phil, why are you doing the character creation off stream? Like, you always do your character creation on stream, but you said you're going to, tomorrow on your day off, you're going to make your character, and Cat's going to make a pawn for you. Like, why are you doing it that way? This is why, because we have only one day to focus on Dragon's Dogma 2, and then I've got to swap back to these games to finish them. So in that consideration, I don't want to waste an hour making characters when we only have 5 hours to play it anyway. You see?
I mean, the fucking alternative to that is you fucking record it offline. That way you don't fucking waste stream time, but you still get to show your audience the character creation. But yeah, why should you fucking do something for the sake of your audience on demand or something? Yeah, why the fuck should you care that much for them? Because you're only looking out for yourself and your own best interest, aren't you? You don't care about what's fucking best for your fucking audience, you dumb little piggy.
So that's why. I hope you understand. And I'm excited. So please be here Friday. If you've been waiting for new games and you're waiting for the big new one, this is one of the big new ones right now. Please come by and hang out with me and enjoy the premiere of Baldur's Gate. Excuse me. Oh no, I said the premiere of Baldur's Gate. The premiere of Dragon's Dogma 2 this Friday. I'm excited for it. I loved the original. Now, by the way, someone earlier today said they couldn't find the Dragon's Dogma playthroughs. Now, hold on. What I like to do live, because I'm here with you, is I'd like to take a quick look. So if I go to videos.
Who fucking cares?
And I literally just go to filter, Dragon's Dogma. Okay. Wow, my review of it was June 2012. My original playthrough was 113 parts. So quite lengthy.
Fuck you, Phil.
That did not work. So,
who fucking cares?
I can't find the DLC, and I'm wondering why. Because I particularly remember when they released the DLC, okay? It's a whole giant optional dungeon. It's huge. And I remember playing it right before I went on, like, a trip, okay? But maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe that's the end of the original playthrough, and I never played the DLC. I can't remember. I really, really can't remember. And that's unfortunate. I wish I could remember exactly. I don't see the Dark Arisen DLC, so maybe I never played it. Maybe what I'm misremembering, okay, is the actual end of the game is a giant dungeon grind, right? So I don't think I ever played it. Now, all these years I thought I actually had, and I guess I didn't. Because here's what I remember. I remember when I played Dragon's Dogma 1, okay? I liked it, but it was a game that if I didn't grind, it was going to be a big ordeal to do the playthrough. So while I was playing it, I would grind offline at night. I would actually like get drunk playing this game and grinding and leveling all my teammates up while I was doing something else. So I'd have like a show on another screen while I was grinding in this game. And I did it for a lot of the playthrough. And I remember at one point, and I had always thought that it was the DLC, but I guess I'm wrong, is that I knew that like there was a piece of content in it. Is that what it is? Cypress TV says you didn't play it. The original playthrough dragged on. I watched it earlier this year. I think what happened was I was under the impression that where I was in Dragon's Dogma 1 was the end of the game. And I had set aside like 1 to 2 nights to finish the game because I wanted to have the playthrough uploaded ahead of time because I was going to a convention. I was going to like an event, and I wanted to have that to be a big project for people to watch while I was at the event, making more videos from the event, but it wouldn't be gameplay. So I really worked hard. Like I filmed a ridiculous amount of gameplay of the game in like 2 days, hoping to finish it, and I still didn't finish it. If I remember, like the end of the game was an insane, lengthy grind, and I was very pissed off at the end of the game. Now, the thing is, somehow in my mind, over the years, I've turned that into, that was the DLC. But I don't think it was. I don't think I ever played the Dark Arisen DLC. I think I just did the base game. I never did the expansion. And if I remember correctly, okay? If I remember correctly, that playthrough, when I started, it was doing well. But over time, people got tired of it. They basically said it was too long and too grindy. And even though I was grinding off camera to level and advance, people just got bored of it. So for me, it was kind of like I was making that final push to finish the game so I could just move on to other games, kind of similar to what I'm doing right now with RPG Overload, Baldur's Gate 3, and Like a Dragon. And I think that's what happened. I think that's exactly what happened. So I rushed to finish Dragon's Dogma 1. I didn't like the ending, right?
Who fucking cares?
Oh, is that what it is? Eternal Napalm says, when you beat the story of Dragon's Dogma, there's a huge dungeon grind that opens up as part of the base game, and it takes 10 hours. I think that's exactly what it is. I think that's exactly what it was, is I beat the story, but then there's this dungeon, and everyone's like, do the dungeon. So I went to do it thinking, oh, it's a few hours. It was like 10 hours. That's exactly what it is. Now we've pieced together the story. There you go. And thank you for helping me because, you know, trying to remember this stuff over a decade later, it's nearly impossible. It really is. Like, people ask me shit all the time. Oh, what about this? What about that? I don't remember. You know, for me, that stuff that's so old, you know, I don't care about it. But for some people, it's really important, old shit, you know, and then they try to remember, and I don't know. I really don't know.
And yet you fucking regale us about the time you fucking worked at a helicopter company or the time you came fucking 4 for Evil one time. And that story, those stories are even older.
Okay, so that's what it is the original playthrough had a story ending, but then a post-game dungeon, and I wanted to do it and everyone wanted to see it, but then basically people got bored with it, and I just tried to rush it and finish it, and I set aside 1 or 2 nights to do it, and I couldn't finish it before I went on the trip. Like, I tried really hard, and I don't think I finished it before I went on the trip. And so eventually I did finish it later, and then I reviewed the game. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but okay. That makes a lot more sense. So I never played the Dark Arisen DLC. Which is a shame, because I think I really liked the game. But again, what would happen back then, I was a slave to video views on YouTube. And that sucks. Let me tell you something. Back then, that really sucked for me. Because there were games that I liked, but then people wouldn't catch on and it wouldn't get views, and people would demand other games instead, and I would have to spend more time on the other games rather than the game that I liked more, because I was a slave to video views. Remember, the only income I had back then was based on ad revenue, and the ads were based on viewership. You know, I had a contract with Machinima, my partner network, where I would get paid a flat rate per amount of views. So I had to bring in views. I had to play what people would watch. Today, it doesn't really matter that much, right? Today, most of my focus is on streaming and having you guys be engaging and supportive of the streams. And yes, I do get back-end income from memberships, from super chats, super stickers, super thanks, and from ad revenue. But for the most part, it's not a humongous deal if viewership goes down for a month or two because I'm not playing hot stuff. Like, for example, right now, my viewership is down on this channel, like a big way, too, like by like a fifth or something like that, because I'm just playing the same RPGs over and over, no new games or whatever. And so it's funny because when I play a new game like Battlefront, it did get more views than everything else that I was doing, but look how long that lasted because the game's a broken mess, right? So it's not much that I can really do in that regard, but it doesn't destroy my business if viewership goes down. As long as people are still coming by and engaging and supporting the streams, I'm okay. Back then, it was different. Back then, that was all I did was on-demand videos. So if the views went down, I actually got hurt by that, and I had to try to adjust and listen to what people wanted. And a lot of the times, I ended up stopping projects and things that I was enjoying to play more what people were asking for. I mean, particularly 2012, if you remember, do you guys remember 2012? That was the summer of GTA. That was the summer when I ended up playing a wild marathon of Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas back to back to back. And it took me a while. It took me like 2-3 months to get through them, like back to back like that. But it really drove me nuts because I didn't want to play that many GTA games back to back. But the views were insane on that playthrough, and people kind of demanded that I do it. So I really didn't have time to do anything else. And that was my whole summer, you know? Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but that's what happened with the original run. Now I'm reminiscing about it, which is nice to think about that. Okay, so guys, here's the deal. It's past noon already. I would prefer to not do suggestion box today.
Oh, thank Christ.
Because every time that I do suggestion box, we end up getting wrapped up in so much discussion that then the show goes late. I would prefer to not have the podcast go late today because I would like to actually get to on time start with Baldur's Gate. So normally what I would say at this time is, all right, guys, so this is a great opportunity for us to do shout outs. Let's do shout outs for contributions. Except I have 0 contributions so far today.
I was expecting DSP News, so I thought I was going to hit a transition button to do that little thing, but I completely did not expect him to go straight to shoutouts. I was expecting a quick DSP News segment, which is why I tried to change the screen there. He threw me for a curveball there. That was my bad.
Us to do shout outs. Let's do shout outs for contributions. Except I have 0 contributions so far today. 0.
Lol.
So I have nothing to shout out at all. All right. So
you can just get straight to the game then. That's fantastic news, Phil. Congratulations. Get on with the game and get an extra half hour of fucking content in.
What do you want to talk about? Let's just have a little bit of Q&A today. And go back and forth a little bit. And if we end the podcast earlier today, that's okay. I'm okay with that. So we can get into more Baldur's Gate. But let's see what happens. All right. So what would you guys like to talk about? Tag me in the chat. We'll do a little bit back and forth.
Say chill, ya dick.
Eternal Napalm says, if you switch to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I will tip you $150. All right. So when I start playing the game again, probably in a couple weeks' time, I'm expecting that tip. Thanks for offering that. I really appreciate it.
No, it's a one-day only fucking offer, you dumb fuck.
Appreciate that. We will Twitch in a couple weeks, and, because you didn't say today. So, very nice. Thank you, Eternal Napalm. No, but you know...
That's fun. Dick
I'm not going to switch to Final Fantasy VII now. The reason is I can't give the game enough time. You know, with these games linger. I really feel like the plan is this: finish Baldur's Gate and Like a Dragon. Then we can have Dragon's Dogma 2 on day streams, Final Fantasy VII on night streams, and then we can get 1 or 2 more games for variety purposes, whether it's Alone in the Dark, whether it's Rise of the Ronin, whether it's another game that's come out recently and I skipped because I didn't want to play it in the time frame when I was doing these other games, whether it's an older game, whether we bring Battlefront back into the mix, like maybe we check out Battlefront again and it runs well this time and we play that a bit, right? Like no matter what it is. Eventually, by the way, 2 big things, guys. Thing number 1, eventually we got to go back to Elden Ring. I got to finish this second run, not necessarily doing like Halley Tree, but we definitely have to beat most of the upper right-hand region of the map so that we can get to the Moog Palace and do that. Or I also wanted to do the other stuff with the dragons and the magic stuff, which we were going to do, like fight the alien, and we didn't get to it yet. So we have to go back to Elden Ring at some point so we can prepare for the DLC in June. The other thing is, right now I'm taking a hiatus from fighting games on purpose, but eventually we're probably going to bring them back. And honestly, it's probably going to be either Street Fighter 6 or we get Fightcade set up and I play on Fightcade classic fighting games, right? So, you know, one of those 2 can come in, and either one of those is variety, right? Like either option is big variety versus what I'm doing right now. So, oh my God, excuse me. Whew. Go Team Venture, thank you very much for the membership. I appreciate that. Eternal asks, how's my back doing these days? It's pretty good. I haven't really had any issues with my back recently. Every once in a while, I'll get something. It's more my neck now. Like now that I'm getting older, my lower back doesn't give me many issues. My neck does. So I keep getting shooting pain or numbness through my shoulder here into my hand. About a few weeks ago, I was actually getting this numbness going down my left shoulder blade, and that's all my neck's fucked up. And there's nothing I can do about that. It's just, I can tell you, my spine, my neck is all fucked up. It's just genetics, I guess. I didn't do anything to cause it. It's just happening as I get older. So eventually,
What happened to the fucking car accident or some pish that you fucking might have had to get surgery for? Hold on. Now it's genetics to blame. He fucking told his audience he was in some like serious accident when he was younger and he may have needed surgery or whatever. The whole premise of fucking Liana moving in with him was it so she could nurse him back to full health after his operation that Phil told his audience that he needed. He told his audience that Liana couldn't move in with him in Connecticut because the place was too small for 2 people. That's why they had to get her own place so she could move in with him and nurse him back to full health once he gets the operation. Then they moved to Seattle and all of a sudden it's like, I guess the Seattle air has cured my bad back. No more operation required. So yeah, this is bullshit. All of a sudden it's fucking genetics. Phil, fuck off. You blamed your aunt for gout. Who are you going to fucking blame for the bad back? Your mum or dad?
I might have to go to a doctor for it and figure it out, but for now, what are you going to do? Right? I just got to deal with it. But the good news is it's not anything horrendous. It's not anything debilitating. It's just kind of annoying that sometimes I have pain or numbness. And I just...
well, we should probably fucking get more exercise in because you fucking sit in your arse most of the goddamn day and there's no sign of you doing any exercise whatsoever goddamn ever.
Got to deal with it for a few days till it kind of fixes itself or readjusts or whatever, right? It's very annoying. I received a $5 tip. This is our first tip of the day. From Oscar. Thank you, Oscar. He actually is going to talk about Alone in the Dark, which is excellent because I'd like to learn about this game. So let's get Oscar on the leaderboard and let's see what he has to say.
Fuck off. I'm going 1.5. It is boring me tremendously, so we're going 1.5 speed and we're about 40 minutes behind live DSP.
He says, I'm currently playing Alone in the Dark. I'm liking a similarity to Alan Wake 2. It comes to switching from the real world and a supernatural world. The gunplay and exploring is fun. I have no doubt you would enjoy this if you start playing it. All right. Maybe that's what we should do. Maybe. All right. Once we finish with Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon, we go fully into Dragon's Dogma 2. I also balance that with Alone in the Dark, and then we have Final Fantasy VII as streams as well. That could be a good variety, actually, right? 2 completely different styles of RPG and then a horror/action hybrid game. That could work, right? Darziak has done a super chat. Thank you, Darziak. Says, Eternal Napalm is secretly a big fan of Baldur's Gate 3. There you go. And the thing is, we all know that. We know that Eternal Napalm actually has written hundreds of hours of fanfictions. Yes. All kinds of, exciting storylines like Astarion drinking the blood of Darkscale Phil. That happened instead of me preventing it. The giant party that happened at the end of Act 1. You remember that? And how ridiculously I called it out, but basically, yes. My playthrough, but with no limitations. Yes, Baldur's Gate 3, unbridled. Now he's been working on that. Okay.
Fuck you.
Anyway. Okay, hold on. I received a $10 tip From 1 Minute Man. Oh, hold on. Biggest tip so far today. Let's get that on the leaderboard and see what he has to say. You know it's going to be about Baldur's Gate 3, though. Okay. You were really lucky with your 25 deception roll yesterday. I'm surprised you chose deception. You're usually more successful with perception. No, you mean persuasion. Remember, you failed 2 deception rolls with Kithrak Voss in the Sheriff's Caress. Also, if you hadn't been so skittish in Sheriff's Caress, you could have talked to Corilla after talking to Voss. You practically brushed up against her. You couldn't get out of that place fast enough for some reason. I'm glad you found Sharon's skull. You almost stepped on it before you went back. You need to take the time to look around. Before you leave Baal's temple, you can speak to Orin's mother. She's nearby. Yeah, I heard there's a whole room in the temple that has lore that I should check out. And I kind of walked by it to get to the boss fight, which is fine. I wanted to watch before the stream ended. But yeah, I probably will fully explore the Baal's temple now that we've beat the boss and there's no enemies, right? Let's go around and let's get the loot. Let's free Lae'zel. Let's check the rooms out. Let's do all that first. It's kind of the spoils of war, right? You beat the fight, now enjoy all the rewards. And then go there. Yeah, Corilla, I never noticed her. And people were saying that apparently she was in the plot several times. Dark Gaming says Corilla shows up a few times in the game to help you. She saves you if you get locked in prison by the goblins in Act 1. And again, that didn't happen. I freed myself or whatever. So, or I didn't get locked up. So that never happened. Like, I never met her at all, right? I literally never spoke with her once. So because of that, I didn't know she existed until we were in the House of Hope. And from reading all the logs in the House of Hope, it seemed like she was allied with Raphael, which makes her an enemy, which is why I said fuck it, and I took her out first. She was also weak as shit, so I was like, oh, let's take her out right away, and then one less enemy, right? Smart thing to do. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing about Baldur's Gate 3 is you have all these moving parts at all times, right? And one person can play the game and stumble into something and another doesn't. There's been many times, actually, that during my run of Baldur's Gate 3, people have been like, oh, I didn't even know that, and I played the game multiple times, and I didn't know that. That just happened with Minsk. Like, someone's like, oh, I played this game like 3 times, I never found Minsk. Where'd you find him? How'd you recruit him? He's a party member? See? So there you go. Let's see. Dark Gaming says she was at the Mason building in Act 2. She runs away. She was. I didn't see her there. We were at the Mason building, remember? We checked out the whole Mason building, found out the history of the Masons building the Moonrise Tower, and then later on we ran into that Mason undead in the House of Hope. I didn't see her there. I didn't see her at the Mason building. Korg says, has playing Baldur's Gate 3 sparked your interest in D&D for any future games in the coming years? Would also recommend the new Lords of the Fallen down the road when it drops in price. Lords of the Fallen already has dropped massively in price. It's actually a super discount now. You can get it for like, I think it's like $30 or less. It did not do well. Just so you know, they were hoping it was going to like reinvigorate the franchise. It didn't sell that well. Probably because Lies of P had just come out right before it was so good that then in comparison, it kind of paled and didn't do that well. So that's why it's at such a big discount right now. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to be playing it at any point. I'm probably not interested. As for other D&D games, the thing is, I don't know anything about D&D at all outside of this, you know, or the movie I watched last year. Remember? What was that? It was Honor Among Thieves or something like that. I don't know what other games there even are. You know, I'll tell you this. This game, at least, it's an exception because how long it is and everything. Listen, I'm glad I played it. At the same time, I cannot play games this long often. This has to be like a once every few years kind of a deal. Do you understand me? I have to make this clear. I can't play like 140-hour games all the time. I will never finish them, and it's going to screw up my schedule and my business. That's literally what's happened. Baldur's Gate 3 has been a wild ride, but it has literally disrupted DSP gaming, and I need to move on to other stuff, which is why I'm doing this big push to finish it. I can't play these games constantly. They will actually crush my business. So I can't. I have to be playing other games that are faster paced, more variety. I can't be investing this much time into one game. The interest falls off, you know?
Who fucking cares?
Oh, I'm not surprised to hear that. Bjorn Turok says, YouTube unsubscribed me from your channel and I thought you quit streaming, FYI. I don't know why you would think I quit streaming. I would tell you if I was going to quit. But being unsubscribed from the channel happens all the time. This has been a running thing for like 7-8 years, and YouTube ignores the problem and says it doesn't exist, but it totally does. You just gotta, you know, check back every once in a while. Listen, I'm one of the most, or if not the most, consistent uploader for video games, right? You know that. I'm going to be uploading video game content almost every day. There's one exception, and that's React Day, and of course my day off, but I'm uploading video game content tons. You know every day I'm streaming, right? If I'm not, I tell you why. So if all of a sudden you notice, where's Phil's content? It's not in my feed. It's because YouTube unsubscribed you. You know, come on back. Big Daddy Dubs, this super chat says Divinity Original Sin 2 is as good as Baldur's Gate 3. Here's the thing. I played it, and I would say combat-wise, it's almost identical, right? Like, I think it was almost the same game in that regard, combat. But, number one, the graphics weren't nearly as good. Everything was done from a faraway perspective. There were very few close-ups in the game, correct? So it didn't look very cinematic. Number two, incredibly drawn out. You know, I played it for, what, 60-plus hours? So if you look in perspective to Baldur's Gate 3, I basically played almost half of it, but not really. And at that point, everyone was bored. Unlike Baldur's Gate 3, people were not showing up. They were not engaging or supporting the playthrough. It was just being dead. And I was like, I can't keep playing this game when the playthrough is basically dead. You know, I gave it a shot. People wanted me to try it. I did it. It didn't work out. It is what it is. Not every game is going to work, right? Okay. I received another $10 tip. Also from 1 Minute Man. Hold on. He says, when you found Dribble's head yesterday, you said you don't have his torso, but you do. You found it in the caves that connected the basement of the Open Hand Temple, part 92 at 2 minutes and 8 seconds. If you have all the body parts, you can finish the quest. With Asterion gone, you should learn the Taradadadad spell. Oh, what the fuck? Tataratata. The Tataratat. The Tataratat spell.
Shut the fuck
No need for thieves' tools and dice rolls. You can open the caravan strongbox and keep the iron flask and use it as a monster grenade in a tough fight, but throw it as far as possible. The monster fights anyone close to it. The tar attack. So my question is, if I have all of the dribble body parts now, okay, which I believe you, number one, where are they all? Because I don't know where they all are. You know, and number two, why didn't the journal say that? Because the journal had said I had every part, but it didn't mention the torso. It had acted like I didn't have it. The tar attack. But yeah, that's what I said. Remember I said I thought that the torso was in the temple where you do the tribunal, right? That's what I think they said it was. I was pretty sure that I didn't get it, but I guess you're saying I did. Yeah. Okay, so landscapers are outside. Can you guys hear them? Let me check. You can't hear the landscapers anymore. This is excellent. You'll hear them when they come close. When they come close, I'm going to close the window. But the good news is, with these new microphone filters in place, you don't hear the landscapers anymore. It's a huge improvement. You know, you guys are really going to see the improvement when the air conditioner's in. You're not going to hear it. It's going to be so good to not.
So instead of us hearing the landscapers, we're going to hear you talking about the landscapers, which is still annoying noise, so the audience don't need to understand, hear. The audience didn't need to be alerted that much and be, have you derail your stream so much to say, hey, there's landscapers outside. You guys can't hear them, but there's landscapers outside. But my mic filters are on, so you don't know this. I'm just letting you guys know that, though, so you know what's happening. I mean, it's a waste of fucking time, Phil.
I have the ambient sound in the back all summer. I'm actually very happy about that.
I'm sorry, hold the fuck on. that noise caught me off guard.
Conditioners in. You're not going to hear it. It's going to be so good to not have the ambient sound in the back all summer.
Hold on. I need to do something with this. I need to do something with this.
You guys are really going to see the improvement when the air conditioner's in. You're not going to hear it.
Give me a second.
It's going to be so good to not have.
Hold on. I need to do this. Bear with me. I need to do this. I'm good as one time in that bit, but I need to see what this is like. Okay, go on, Phil. Make your noise. Alright. That was horrifying. That was as horrifying as I thought it was going to be. Oh my god, okay, let's just get back to let's get back to 1.5 speed.
Sound in the back all summer. I'm actually very happy about that. Okay. So thank you 1 Minute Man for the tip. Thank you guys for your few super chats here. What else would you guys like to talk about today? Orange says, Louis Rossman, an independent Apple repairman and YouTuber, he made an app that's called Gray J. It allows you to subscribe to people across multiple platforms. Feed works better than YouTube even. So you're saying it's a third-party app that you can subscribe to people, and basically it'll give you a feed of all their content. Like, let's say, for example, someone wanted my tweets and my videos on all 3 of my channels. They could do that, and it would give you all at once. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Well, there's a recommendation right there if you're interested. Sussy, I don't even know what you're talking about. What you're saying doesn't make any sense. It says, do you have plans for when Baldur's Gate 3 ends? Sadly, anything you play gets support. I'm kind of worried about the future of the channel. What? You literally just said anything I play gets support. Huh? First of all, I make a tremendous amount of content, right? The podcast gets good support every day. The games are hit or miss depending on what game I'm playing, depending on what day it is. Definitely Baldur's Gate 3 gets consistent support. But the throwback streams have been getting great support, right? And I do those once a week every Sunday night. I think what it is, people want more variety. But for example, when I played the Battlefront Classic Collection, despite the fact the collection's atrociously bad, that stream got great support. And the videos actually got good views on YouTube. Not that it mattered because they're demonetized because the Star Wars music got claimed. But if you're trying to say no one's supporting anything but Baldur's Gate 3, that's completely false. Okay. David said, looking back, would it have made sense for you to go back and play more games that you missed in the Yakuza series before Infinite Wealth so it would be more meaningful? The only 2 I didn't play were the first 2. I know the plot of 3. I played 4, 5, 6, 7. I played spin-off games like Gaiden, excuse me, and all of that. So I know mostly everything. And I think is I've kind of heard the story of Yakuza 1 and 2 over the years regardless. So it's not a huge loss that I never actually actively played them. So no, I don't think I needed to play every single Yakuza game. The Scale Scholar says, Phil. Yes. That's all he said, Phil. So yes. Am I a dog or cat person? Well, I love having a cat. Jasper is an amazing pet and friend and companion. But I've never had a dog. So I honestly don't know. From what I understand, dogs are a lot more work, but also people love dogs too. So I don't know if I would like a dog or not. I'm not sure.
I mean, you've already explained this question literally the other day, Phil. Wrong button, sorry. You explained that you don't want to get a fucking dog in case the cat gets jealous. Jasper will get jealous. He's not the sole pet anymore. There's other attention going to another pet, and Jasper will get fucking distraught and all that shit. Like, I mean, Phil, you don't deserve pets, especially dogs. Look, I like cats as well, but I am primarily a dog person. And dogs are fucking good. All dogs are fucking good. And no dog deserves to fucking suffer being the fucking pet of Phil Burnell. That is something I would not wish on any dog in the fucking world. Dogs deserve better than this piece of shit right there, ignoring all his fucking health issues and fucking ignoring getting him fucking blood work when he fucking needs it, and ignoring his fucking cries for attention when he fucking just wants to be belly rub or wants to get some fucking, you know, food or water.
What I would hope is, once I start playing newer games, like Dragon's Dogma 2, which everyone's asking for, all right, and other variety, like I think like Alone in the Dark, or some action-based games, like I said, like maybe bringing back some Street Fighter, whether it's new or old, maybe some Battlefront, maybe bring back Elden Ring to continue on with that run so we get ready for the DLC. Once we get that variety back on the streams, we'll be good. The problem is there's no variety. It's literally the same games over and over, and people are tired of these games. 130 hours almost into Baldur's Gate 3, and over 50 hours into Like a Dragon. People want a change, and I hear that. I hear your cries for change, but the problem is I've played games that are too long. Like I definitely said, I just cannot play games as long as Baldur's Gate 3 very often. Maybe once every few years, we delve into a game this long. But I cannot play games this long all the time. I can't. They kill the channel. They really do. Do I have any childhood or baby pictures to show on stream? I don't have any of them. My parents do. They have all the photo albums and stuff, and I'm sure I'm going to inherit those one day. Maybe we'll look at them together, but I don't have them actively here. I received another $10 tip, also from 1 Minute Man. Wow, thank you, 1 Minute Man. I appreciate that. He says, my take on the JKB story, if you don't know what he's talking about, this is this Jay Hoofed guy, the former editor of Review Tech USA, who I guess is going to get gotten into a spat with him. And
I did tell Brian that I was not going to... Phil has been encouraged to talk about this because of our contribution. So I don't think... I mean, I did say... You know, fuck it, fine, free space. Phil could have easily said to the guy, look, I'm not going to talk about this, but Phil seems very open all of a sudden to talk about it again. Phil could easily just said, look, 1 Minute Man, I am not going to talk about that. No, it's one of those things, if Phil had said then and there, I'm not going to talk about it, I wouldn't have countered it. But Phil seems very open all of a sudden to exploring the topic again and doing a deep dive into it and discussing it all over again. So even though he's been coerced into talking about it, Phil chose to fucking discuss it. So yeah, I'm counting it.
Supposedly wanted to have me on just like a quick show for like a chill stream or something, and then I guess he's bipolar or something because he says something publicly that literally
he's bipolar or something. Wow, way to fucking make fun of fucking random mental illness or something just because somebody says something critical of you.
Burger 5 in a row. That's concerning.
So yeah, we have a free space because Phil is talking about Jay, the fucking bullshit from yesterday. He could have just told 1 Minute Man, fuck off, I'm not talking about it, but nah, he's going right back in there.
Really didn't happen in the talks we had. If you want that skinny on that, I made a video about it yesterday. You can check it out. It's right here on the channel, featured video too. He says, if a random person tells you that Joe Biden wants to come to your stream, would you believe them? If someone wants to come on your stream, they should contact you, not some random person. Even if they did, you would have to quadruple check if the request is real. This was a real life perception check and you shouldn't fail it. But the truth is, he wanted that. Like, I guess what had happened was...
No, Phil, you went to him. You approached him. You initiated contact with Jay. That's something even you admitted. And he was thinking about it and thought, maybe it'd be a good thing, which is dumb, but there you go.
Jay has this split with Rich, and he's doing his own streams now, and people are actually paying attention to the guy now because they're like, haha, you know, it's drama, right? I guess he'd said on his streams, yeah, I would like to just have like a chill stream or conversation with Darkside Phil.
Did you have any evidence of that, Phil? Or are you just pulling shit out your arse again?
Because that's someone that Rich craps on all the time. So it would be surreal to actually have a conversation with the guy, you know, because Rich never has, you know, and so this guy, Ones to Sense, who was on my streams over the weekend, I presented this opportunity. He says, I'm actually someone who, I work with Jay all the time, and he's expressed interest in talking with you. Would you consider it? I said, I'm open to just a conversation about anything, gaming or whatever, something positive. That's cool, you know? And that's how it was presented. This wasn't an...
Oh, that's a good point. So Quid F says is mentioning Joe Biden politics. I mean, yeah. Technically, yeah.
Burger. 5 in a row. That's concerning.
Sure, it was 1 Minute Man that fucking mentioned it, but Phil read it out and everything else. So yeah, it counts.
Interview. This wasn't an interrogation. It has nothing to do with me. It's just talking about games and life and stuff like that. It was supposed to be casual and fun. And I'm like, that sounds like a plan. So I DM'd him and we had a conversation back and forth. That was literally to that effect. Don't talk about drama. Don't talk about Rich at all. Let's just have a conversation as two gamers and two YouTubers and have a good time. And we were actually talking specifics of how to set that up. He had wanted to do a talk beforehand, like on the phone or something, to lay out the specifics of how we were going to make it happen, because I don't know how we would even do that. Like, how, if we were to do it, would we co-stream it? where we both stream our perspectives? Or would it be only on one of our channels? Would it be an offline thing we do and record and we each upload, which we could have done that too? Like, I have no idea. And I think that's what we were supposed to talk about. And the next thing I know, Jay's tweeting, oh, well, the whole DSP thing, I only entertained it because he reached out to me and he's never gonna have a serious interview and talk about the important topics. He's just like everyone says. So I'm like, wait, what? Like, literally nothing you're tweeting about is anything we ever discussed. You said you wanted to have a casual conversation with me. That wasn't drama, that was positive. You didn't say anything about an interview, you didn't say anything about questions or nothing. It was supposed to be us hanging out, which I'm totally open to. Why did you fucking tweet all that on Twitter? Like, it has nothing to do with the conversation we're literally having in DMs right now. So the moment that I see that, that's it for me, you know? Like, I hate to say it, but the guy feels like he's two different personalities. And on the one hand, he says one thing, and then on the other hand, he's acting like a completely different thing happened that didn't. You know? So I don't understand it. It completely blows my mind. Like, well, whatever. And here's the thing. I'm done with it then, right? If that's the case, I already know I can't trust this person. So what's the point? You want to know my honest take on it is this. This is a guy who worked for Rich for a while, right? He literally has his hands and his mind in this kind of drama sphere, not detractor, but like TMZ style content. This is what he did for a long time because he was paid to do it for Rich. He's ingrained in it, right? He's probably all about it. And he probably wants to continue it. So that's why he has that mindset. He probably already has this weird misconception about me because of all the stuff that Rich has said and done about me. So he's already got this mindset and he's not willing to have an open mind and just have a conversation with me, apparently. Like, here's the fun part about all of this, right? People think that, like, I'm not a normal person who's capable of, like, a conversation. Why? Just because I don't have it publicly on a stream doesn't mean I'm not capable of having a conversation. I was so blown away that he reached out and talked to me. Why? Like, what?
Because you had him blocked, Phil. You had him blocked, so he probably was not expecting an unblock and then a conversation.
That was another funny thing too. Like, with the whole Mike Klum documentary, the way that I got introduced to Mike Klum is the weirdest story. It wasn't, he didn't reach out to me, someone else did. All right, I'm not gonna tell the whole story because I don't know if it's even something that should be public. But basically, another YouTuber reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you be willing to work with Mike Klum on a documentary?" And I was like, "Why are you reaching out to me?" Right? Oh, well, because we want to make sure that you get that you paid attention to this or whatever. You're a hard guy to reach. I was like, I'm not a hard guy to reach at all. You can email me, you can DM me, all this stuff is available. The problem is people have this weirdo misconceptions about me that just aren't true. Just because I don't actively do talking with people on my streams doesn't mean that I don't talk to people, right? Like, what are you talking about? It's just wild what people say and the shit they make up. So it's like some big deal. Someone comes on my stream and says, hey, this guy Jay might want to have a chill conversation with you. I'm actually down for that because that's the kind of guy I am. I'll talk about games. We'll talk about news. We'll talk about whatever, right? I'm okay with that. In fact, the least drama, the better. Like I said, I don't even want to talk about Review Tech USA because that's just drama to me. The guy's always treated me badly and I have no desire to discuss that, man. But if you want to talk about the state of gaming, you want to talk about life in general, what it's like to be a YouTuber, all this kind of stuff that I can relate to, I'd be down for that conversation. But guess what? No one wants to have that conversation with me. All they want to do is create drama to get views and clickbait and make money on my name. So that's it. I mean, Jay probably thought, oh, on the guise of a casual conversation, but then try to lure it into drama. I don't want drama. There's no point in talking about your drama that you fabricated to begin with, or you're following fabricated drama from other people. I have no reason to discuss any of this. What are you talking about? So, right? It's weird to me. Here's the truth. I wish people on the fucking internet were normal. A lot of them are not. A lot of them, everything, at least looking at my experiences in the last year, everyone is out to make a buck off of my name. However they can do that, and usually that's drag Phil through dirt, right? So let's have Phil as a guest on our show. Oh, wait a minute. We realized this guy's going to be a cash cow because a lot of people don't like him on the internet. So let's say we're going to do an interview, right? But then turn that interview into a 3-ring circus that will milk for content for 2 months and then also continue to do defamatory streams about him so that we can make tons of money on him, right? Oh, by the way, also drop the original offer to have him as a guest on our show anyway. Like, what the fuck? All I wanted to do was be a guest on the show because they offered it and it would have given me some exposure to a new audience. Instead, I've become a villain again on the internet for a bunch of bullshit that I'm not involved in. Oh, let's have Phil as a chill guest and we'll have a fun conversation with him about life and gaming. Oh, well, you see, Phil didn't want to do a serious interview about the serious topics that he's accused of, so he's never going to want to do that. So, he's just like everyone says, what are you talking about? What the fuck is wrong with you? No, really, what the fuck is wrong with you? You got problems up here. You do. You're out of your fucking mind. Not everything in life is meant to be something to personally gain from, right? You're out of you're insane to say stuff to act like that. You're fucked up, right? Like, it doesn't make any sense at all, right? This is just hilarious to me because people, by the way, message me and talk to me all the time, email me all the time. How is there a conception on the internet that I'm hard to reach? What, because fucking Keemstar said it? He's a fucking liar. He's a liar. He made it up on purpose to create more drama and content for him. Stop believing idiots. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Phil said it. It's fantastic stuff.
Burger. 5 in a row. That's concerning.
Thank you very much to Salty Watermelon for a super chat, who says dogs are good, friend. I wholeheartedly agree. Dogs are very good. They're all good dogs. Anytime I see a dog and I'm out and about in public, I tell that dog and let them know, you're a good dog. I'll get a funny look sometimes from the owner, but I just think it's important that dogs know and they're reminded that they're a good dog. You know, so yeah, many a time I've had an owner go, he's a cheeky one, he's been a bit stubborn. And I was like, he's a good dog, he's a good dog, and just get on my merry way. But yeah, it's very important in my opinion to let dogs know they're good dogs, because we don't deserve them. People don't deserve dogs, in my opinion. And I say that as somebody who had his forehead bit by his wee puppy today. So there you go. I got home from work and this wee puppy was like, hey, I'm happy to see you, but at the same time, let me stick my fucking wee teeth into you. Bite. There you go. But he's still a wee good dog. So cheers for that. Cheers for that salty watermelon. Also, apparently Phil did say friend earlier on when he was talking about Jasper. I missed it, but people are swearing he said it, so I'll count it.
Burger.
So there we go. We are technically free away from a full house because we have a free space already because Phil talked about this fucking nonsense with Jay.
Okay. Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Like I said, I'm done with
Nonsense. There we go. Straight away.
Burger. 5 in a row. That's concerning.
We are 2 away.
With it. I blocked Jay. I'm not talking to him ever again. There's no point. That's it. Like, I got my one. I give him the one chance. I tried to be nice and immediately get stabbed in the back and treated like dirt. Well, fuck you. I'm done with you. Never deal with you ever again. Move on with my life. I got shit going on for myself. I don't have to worry about you, right? Lies darkness is, I think this mentality is common. People don't have common fundamental values like they used to. People just don't have a moral compass anymore, right? Like it used to be, if you did something that hurt someone, even if you benefited from it, somehow you feel bad about it. Now it's like people just don't care anymore. I will say and do whatever I want. I will destroy people around me. I will step on them to get ahead. And no one seems to feel anything bad about that whatsoever. And it drives me bonkers because there's an entire genre of content on YouTube made like this. And I don't know how it's allowed to exist. If you want valid advertisers to come to your site, if you want people to actually buy your products, right? Sponsors, why would you promote that kind of content? All that kind of content does is create toxicity and it harms people. So why would you advertise and pay for it? If anything, that content should be completely demonetized on YouTube. Therefore, these idiots won't do it anymore because the only reason they do it is because they get popular doing it and then they make tons of money. So fucking stop supporting the toxicity and it'll go away, right? But instead, it seems like YouTube promotes it. YouTube pushes it with its algorithms forward and all you can find is the toxic content. You can't even find the positive content anymore. Like, why did they do that? They're idiotic. Did they not realize that their site would be much better with positive content pushed to the forefront and allowing that to get the advertisement and that to get the promotions and stuff? Like, it doesn't make sense at all. The way that they've done it. If they keep shooting themselves in the foot with this shit, you know? And why? Then you get everyone copycat it. You know, it started with guys like Keemstar, and you get the copycats like Rich, and you get the copycats of the copycats, and it's just going to continue forever, and YouTube will continue to get worse. You know? A lot of people say, you know, that I'm outdated, I'm a dinosaur, because I stick to an old era of YouTube content creation style. You're right. You're absolutely right. I don't want to ever be pulled into a vortex like this, a drama vortex of, oh, you see, well, this is good that Phil brought me up today because now I can milk that for a video view. I can make a video about it and get clickbait and stuff. It's like, I didn't want to make that video yesterday about Jay. I don't care about the guy, but everyone kept coming on my streams and asking me. And I said, well, I'll just do it now. That way my statement's out and I don't have to bring it up anymore, right? Stupid. I don't want to waste
Yeah, you brought up today again. 2 days in a row.
time on that shit.
Also, shout out to the Tucky Tom reference for you saying milking. Once again, Tucky Tom fresh on your mind when he has not even thought about your ass since November of last year.
That's why I'm happy that I did it that way, because then people won't come on my gameplay streams and ask me about it because it's already taken care of, right? It's just awful. I hate it. I fucking hate all of that shit, you know? Of all the things you can accuse me of over the years, right? You can say my bad behavior back in the day with my commentary, which was way, you know, irresponsible and offensive. And then you can say, you know, at one point, Phil thought his shit didn't stink. He was really cocky and egotistical and all of that. When This Is How You Don't Play happened, when he had falling out with various people during those years and all that. He was a real piece of shit, right? I will agree with all of that. All of that negative criticism I will take and say, you're right. And that's why I've really worked hard in the last many years to change myself as a person, right? I've tried to become a better person. I understand now that I'm a fallible human who makes lots of mistakes. I try to take feedback. I try to improve. And I hope that you've seen that improvement that I've worked for over the last several years. But the one thing that I can always say, all right, is that in all the years that I've been a content creator, I never had to step on other people to get where I was. I never actively hurt anyone to do what I do and make a living or to get any kind of popularity, right? I mean, even as much as you'll watch back and you watch, you know, that video of John Rambo and Howard kind of crapping on me. What you'll always hear John say is that I was fair with pay because I didn't want to step on someone or crap on someone or ruin someone's reputation or whatever. I wanted everyone to come up with me. You understand? So I never really wanted to feel like, oh, Phil just used us as a ride or whatever. No one's gonna say that. But I didn't. In fact, I did no collaborations. I did no screw jobs. You know, none of that exists ever, right? At all. And that's a good thing, right? That I can go back and look at my history and say, even though I made all these mistakes and all these things I've done wrong, did I really hurt anyone in the process, right? Did I have any awful things that I did to people around me?
Didn't pay respect to Pact for all their fucking hard work. You kind of stole a bunch of t-shirts from John and Howard when they fucking put money into it as well, not shit to sell, and you try to profit off their name. When John wanted to take a sabbatical basically from doing YouTube stuff and went out to the fucking wilderness just to fucking get away from it all, you read out his private text on stream to your audience. That kind of shit, you know, you took advantage of that situation. You want to take advantage of people and go against your word of being done with drama. Anytime you say you're done with drama and you promise your audience you're done with fucking drama, some money man will come along and then fucking tell you, hey, you want to fucking talk to this guy about something, you know what I mean? A wee idea, a wee project, he wants to talk to you. And all of a sudden you let the money fucking make you can forget all about your promises towards your audience. You hurt plenty of people by fucking uploading mindless, mundane bullshit to YouTube every single fucking day. You hurt people with fucking actual, you know, you mock mental illness all the goddamn fucking time. You're fucking calling this J guy bipolar because all of a sudden they fucking aren't agreeable with you anymore after they fucking talk to you. Any fucking person that talks to you, Phil, directly get a negative impression of you. It happened with fucking Side Scrollers, especially with fucking Adam, you know what I mean? He didn't even talk to you before that fucking stream, and he interviewed you for 5 fucking hours, and all of a sudden he's like, this guy's a fucking joke, man. He gets everything he fucking deserves. What the fuck is wrong with this bizarre fucking individual? And that was no detractor filter on for him. He was basically just seeing you and talking to you raw, unfiltered, without any fucking, you know, pushing or prompting from detractors whatsoever. Anyone that fucking comes into contact with you, Phil, if they're unaware of you, they will usually have a negative impression because that is the sort of human being you are. You come across as a negative, toxic piece of shit. You thrive on it. Look at you fucking trying your best to fucking thrive on this shit. Oh, I'm done with the drama. But guys, by the way, even though I'm done with the fucking drama, I'm going to make it my featured fucking video on my channel. When Phil's not live, the featured video on his channel when he's not live is that fucking thing he uploaded. This fucking crap, you know, this video. Where is it? Where is it? This thing here. This crap. This is his featured video, this fucking thing here. Fucking doing a T-pose for a fucking thumbnail. But this is his featured fucking video. 1.4k views for that, 145 fucking views of Baldur's Gate. Fucking says it all. So yeah, he's done with the drama, but at the same time he's going to absolutely do his best to try and capitalise on that drama and milk it for all it's fucking worth for his own personal gain. He's done it with LTG, he's done it with RTU here. He could have just fucking told 1 minute man I'm done with it, but instead he's like, nah, I'm going to talk about it again, and I'm going to give my take on it again, and I'm going to fucking give you my opinion again, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to keep talking about it, so I'm artificially creating drama for my content for me to talk about and to have people discuss.
Really makes me be categorized in line with a lot of these other people, right? I would hope that when all things are said and done at the end of the day, people will look and say, wow, he made an insane amount of content that made people laugh. Didn't make people point fingers and yell and get angry and toxic with people.
You're laughing at you, Phil, not with you. None of your shit's meaningful. You can't remember fuck all you've done for the fucking 15 years you've been doing YouTube. Anytime you try and fucking remember anything, you fucking forget it. You fucking got tricked into fucking thing. You fooled yourself into thinking you'd done DLC for a game like 10 years ago. And it turned out you hadn't, because your fucking general fucking brain, your fucking alcohol-riddled fucking mind created you fucking playing a DLC that you didn't actually fucking play.
He didn't defame people all day. He just made people laugh. And that's a good thing, because that content will still be there for years to come to be watched. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that's the good thing. I never really hurt anyone doing it. It's positive, funny content, as opposed to I literally sat here every day hurting people to make a living. I don't ever have to do that. I have no desire to do that, you know? And that's why, you know, in this case with Jay, you know I'm telling the truth, because what would I have to lie for? I don't benefit by making someone else look bad. That's not my content. That's not what I want my content to be, right? So
you benefit by fucking making him look like the bad guy and making you like a fucking innocent angel. You're doing your best to make yourself look like you've not done anything wrong, even though you're the one that reached out to him in the first place, prompted by a money man telling you, "Guy Phil, you should talk to this guy, you can do a fucking video together." You're the one that initiated this drama. You're the one that created this fucking drama. You let money dictate your mind. And you went back on your word to your audience. You went back on your promise to your audience. You told your audience you were done with this. You told your audience you were moving on from this. No more interviews, no more drama. Just going to focus on fucking, you know, just my gameplay, my community, my chat or whatever. No outside crap. He doesn't trust anyone. And all of a sudden, here he is, you know, the fucking first second that someone comes along with a whole bunch of money in his fucking pocket and then says to him afterwards, "Hey Phil, somebody wants to talk to you." he just goes straight back on his word to his audience and fucking unblocks the fucker. Talks to him on fucking Twitter. Hey, you interested in an interview? Let's talk.
No, I'm telling the truth about the situation because I have nothing to gain from it by lying at all. Anyway, all right. I guess that's it for today. We're out of time, so let's end the stream and get into Baldur's Gate 3, shall we? All right. So thank you all. By the way, happy spring. It is officially spring now for a day here in Washington State, and now we have cooler weather again, which is hilarious. We had summer weather over the weekend, and now that it's spring, the weather's cooler. Figure that one out. But it is cooler today. I'm enjoying this right now, and I thank you all for chilling with me here today for the Level 1 podcast, and I hope that you will stick around for Baldur's Gate, but if not, as always, I wish you a safe and happy Thursday. I will not be here. I will come back on Friday to probably have a lot to talk about. I feel like it'll be like gaming news and all stuff to talk about, and of course, a big premiere day of Dragon's Dogma 2. Thank you all. See you Friday. Peace out. Okay. All right, so really quickly, like I said, we're going to switch over. I'm going to play the title screen music of Baldur's Gate again, and then we're just going to get ready. I'm just going to go use the restroom quickly. I don't have to do a big break today, which is good. I just have to go like quickly use the restroom, and then we'll start. I'm actually very excited to get the spoils of my fight with Orin. I want to see what rewards we got. Obviously, I want to rescue Lae'zel, and you guys are saying that there's all kinds of lore and stuff in the area, so I would definitely like to explore and investigate that, and then determine what's next. And I was thinking, so what's left? We've got Shadowheart, we've got Lae'zel, we've got Will, all 3 of their companion missions, correct? Apparently, we have the body parts for Dribbles the Clown. If that's the case, I'd like to do that. I'd like to finish that quest line, because that was a really hard one to do, see what we get for it. And then basically everything else is story related, correct? Like for the end, I have to determine if I want to do the Iron Throne or all of that. But I think today we'll probably work on companion stuff. Like I definitely see that, happening. So, cool. Let's get her booted up. Let's get the music playing for you guys, like I said, and then we'll do a brief break, and then we'll get started. Yeah, poor Cracker Jacks, who's a regular of this channel, but he just doesn't like Baldur's Gate 3, so this has not been Cracker Jacks this week. He's playing every day. I know. Listen, I know. I'm trying to wrap it up. I understand this is not everyone's cup of tea. A lot of people don't like this game. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing to finish it, you know? Okay. So are you guys saying that this right here, what we're staring at here, is where I am in the game right now? Because it doesn't look exactly like this. And I think that's why it was confusing. Are you saying to the left of the screen, like that's where we just fought Orin? And then to the right of the screen that's the gate that was buffing Orin? Is that what this title screen is? Because I'll be honest, it doesn't really look like that. It was confusing. I didn't know that that's what it was. Also, what's funny is your party is coming out of the gate, but you don't come out of the gate that way. You come from the other side, right? It's close to what I went to. Orin's room is on the other side of the gate. Oh, so you're saying we didn't go through the gate yet. If we go through the gate today, this is what we'll see on the other side. Okay, well, let's do that today then. Yeah. Let's do that and see what's down there. Maybe there's something down there, right? Okay. I'll be back, guys. I'm just going to mute the mic, and I'll leave you the music. I'll be right back.
But don't worry, guys. I have the power of fast forwarding. And he's only going for a pee, so it shouldn't take too long to fast forward a fucking thing. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. You then, he's not back yet. Still not back yet. Come on, Phil. Come on. Get the last few shakes out. Come on. Oh, for fuck's sake, Phil. Hurry the fuck up.
Little booster.
Oh, there we go.
Ready to go.
Here we go, there we go. He's back. Waddle into frame. Door closed. Cat must be home.
Okay, I'm back and I'm ready to go. Let's boot her up. Very good. Lixification says, now the question is Phil P standing up or sitting down? I've already answered this. That my member is so huge that if I try to pee sitting down, it flashes and touches the water. So actually, I have to use a special booster seat when I go number 2 to make sure that my tremendous member doesn't hit the water. Yeah, right. You've named the chair. You named the chair Steve? When did this happen? You named the chair Steve. Is this a new meme? The chair will be named Steve? I'm okay with that. That's a good name. Are we ready? Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bald.
Sadly, we could not get the full house, so Mokiness will be very sad because I didn't get a fucking full house card. Don't worry, Moki. At least you don't fucking have like 4 or 5 in a row. You failed like Eviga. Eviga's a sad boy because every time Eviga joins a fucking stream, he doesn't get a fucking full house and he thinks he's fucking cursed or something. So yeah, it could be worse, Moki. Don't worry about it. But hey, we were close. End of the day, we're only 2 away from a full house. Let's tick off. But let's tick off leaning ban. Even though we didn't get one today, I don't think. I'm not sure. I mean, we've seen Phil lean several times, but we have no idea why. We had no like audible confirmation that he leaned anyone. I didn't see any super chats disappear from Phil's stream about for people got leaned that way. So yeah.
Burger.
But end of the day though, We almost got a full house, we weren't too far away. 23 out of 25 is still respectable in my opinion. It wasn't too bad. And we're not too far behind Phil. Let's see what he got when he started game right now.
But I don't know.
He's on $35, hooray, and he's in a fucking menu, fucking brilliant. Let's just fucking get rid of that shit and close that. And let's enjoy otters, there we go. Let's get some lovely detoxifying cute ass otters to end things on. Guys, I do hope you all enjoyed this Wednesday stream of Bingo. Sad that we could not get a full house, but it is what it is. Nothing we can do about bingo mechanics and all that jazz. I really appreciate you guys helping me keep me right in the card. I do apologise once again for the slightly late start. It took a while to set the stream up as well. I was busy adulting with real life stuff. I had to go to the shop and get dinner stuff, and then I had to go home, get home and make dinner as well. And I was still eating my dinner when the bingo was starting and everything else. It was a bit of a crazy mess. But hey, end of the day though, we got through the podcast, we got through the bingo. Sad we couldn't get a full house. But you know how the saying goes, there is always Friday. We will be back on Friday. I will be here Friday for some bingo antics once more. Phil will tell us all about his shitey day off, and he'll hype up him playing a brand new game only for one day only, and then so I'm going to abandon it to go back to the same old pish of Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon. What a smart human being he is for his business. But guys, I do hope you've all enjoyed yourself. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, however you wish to spend it, and enjoy your Thursday as well. Whatever you end up doing on Thursday, hope you enjoy it. Support the random detractor streams and content you see during your Thursday, or just detox altogether from Phil and detractor stuff and just enjoy doing whatever the hell you want on a Thursday. But yeah, I'll be back on Friday for some bingo, as I said. So yeah, I hope you all join me then, but until then, have a good one and I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.
On September 14th, a pre-authorized payment of $16.51 from PayPal.
All right, Luna Mills has tipped me $1.30. It says, "I'm back. What's your favorite type of shower?" When you're showered in money. When you go outside, and all of a sudden, greenbacks start falling from the sky, and you raise your face up. You're like, oh, you start dancing. You go, oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. All right, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but thank you for the first tip of the day. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money, oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, 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 yeah, yeah. Money, money, oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. These contributions are mandatory. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money, oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, 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 yeah, yeah. Money, money, oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. These contributions are mandatory. Show me the money. Money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, money, oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. Money, 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 yeah, yeah. Money, money, oh, money, money, yeah, yeah. These contributions are mandatory. And it's gone, just gone like that.